Hello everyone, I'm Nasser Lara. I'm the CEO of Nuve Platform. In this video, I'm going to walk you through an overview of CI pipelines for SAP. Let's get started. As you can see, we have two systems running. One is our central development system. We won't touch that one. And then we have a second system for Nestor, that's me, for personal development. That's one we'll be logging into and doing all of our work in. As you can see, I already have it set up here in the background. And the repository we're going to be modifying is CI S-Flight demo. And so I'll start off by opening up that package, going to the program that we're going to modify, and running it just to get a sense of what the program does. So I'll execute this and select an airline, run it. Okay, we can see we get some values. If I go back, let's select a different airline. Execute it. I noticed I got the same values, and that makes sense because the user is indicating that the selection doesn't actually do anything. And so let's go back and take a quick look at the code. Let's go to the main execution part. Oh, I see the problem. There's a hard-coded value here, so it's always selecting AA, when really it should be selecting pcar ID from our parameters. So let's go ahead and make that change. I'm going to replace AA with the variable pcar ID. I'm going to activate. Perfect. Let's execute our program and see if it still works. AA shows up as expected. Let's try that second one, AB. Execute. Great. So now we can see that it is updating correctly, or at least displaying the results correctly. Okay, so in this case, I think I'm pretty much done with my change, so I'm going to go ahead and start the CI process. I'm going to go back into ABAP Git. I can see that now there is a difference between the local and the remote, and that's the change that we just implemented, so all of that looks good. I'm going to stage this change, and then I will add all in commit and enter a comment here, which is replace hard-coded value. And we want this to be in a new branch, so use variable for param. I'm going to click commit, and now if I go to GitHub, all of our code is hosted on GitHub. GitHub will automatically detect the new branch that I created for this repository. So I'm going to click compare and pull request to create my pull request. I'm going to add a comment here. And then I'm going to click create pull request. And now this is where the fun stuff happens. You can see there's ABAP lint. Now, if you're not familiar with ABAP lint, it has over 150 rules that it's checking. It's doing static analysis to make sure that our code is conforming to our development guidelines. It'll also start the CI workflow run to automatically execute our unit test. And so what that's doing is that is leveraging the Nuve Platform API to create an entirely new S/4HANA instance on Nuve Platform, where it's going to go through all of these steps of creating the instance, setting up environments, doing some configuration, executing a ping to make sure that there's connectivity between GitHub and the SAP instance. It'll then link the repository, in this case, as the CI S-Flight demo repo. It'll then set and pull the branch under test, which is the one we just created. It'll execute any unit test for that package. And if there's any errors, we'll get the errors. If not, we'll just see a passing test. And then regardless of whether the test passed or failed, it'll delete the instance. And so all of this will take about 3 to 5 minutes. And that's important because we really want short cycles for our developers to be able to write their code, test, debug, repeat, and have some automation in place in order to make sure that the code is working as expected. Now, we also follow a least expensive to most expensive process where the least expensive is the static analysis, then more expensive is the CI workflow, where it actually spins up the SAP instance. This is going to run all of our unit tests that we included and just give us that early feedback. And if all of that passes, then we'll assign a reviewer so that we can merge our code into main. I did this in a personal development environment, and the benefit to that is that it doesn't matter if my code isn't working, I'm not negatively impacting others. We're used to shared development environments where anything we do will impact all the other developers who have to use that system. In this case, I have the freedom to take as long as I need to complete the change, but more importantly, whatever it is I do will not negatively impact others on my team. And that is critical because that frees me up to be more innovative to make sure that everything is working as expected. Okay, and so we can go back and we can see that it's further along. Last, it'll just set and pull that branch under test, run the unit test, and then delete it. There it is, it's done. We can see that everything passed. And so while we're waiting for that to get deleted, I'm going to assign a reviewer. Oh, there it goes, it disappeared. We get feedback from the person doing the review on whether our code requires any changes, if we could have done anything better, if we forgot something, if we missed a dependency. And so there's just a lot of benefit from enforcing that peer review. And so we're just going to simulate the approval process here. And all of the changes get approved. Now the branch has no conflicts with the main branch, and I can merge my pull request. I will confirm the merge, and that's it. Now my code has been updated. If I go into the actual source code here, scroll towards the bottom, we can see that it has our latest changes. And so that's CI pipelines, very brief overview. Of course, we follow the happy path. In real life, there's always things that go wrong. So in some of our other videos, you can dive deeper into what happens if ABAP-Lint fails, what happens if my ABAP unit test fail, or what happens if the person reviewing the code requests changes. And then last but not least, now that I'm done with my change and it is merged into main, I'm going to delete the instance. If I didn't do anything, it'll delete itself in an hour because when I created it, I set it to do that. But in this case, I'm done a little bit early. So I'm just going to click delete, confirm, and my instance gets deleted. You probably noticed that it cut off the SAP GUI in the background. And that's our video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.